Welcome along to another episode of the Nitro Flashback Files. This time we're going to talk about the Gas Awards, which we raced at, I would like to say recently, but it was actually a few weeks ago. We're going to recap on what was a very exciting and entertaining weekend. So we had previously had to rebuild the motor due to a bearing issue that had unfolded after several years of thrashing it to death. It finally required a little bit of maintenance, so we tidied that up. I trucked the motor up to Beach Shop, which you will have seen in a previous post. This was the first test of giving it a bit of death really and just seeing if it can stand up to it. On the day we were paired up to run best of three against Michael Franklin in the Nitro Hoon, and on paper we wouldn't stand a chance, but thankfully we don't race on paper. So, I don't know if I'll put that in there actually. I would if we won. So preparing for this meeting was a little bit different to how it normally goes for us. Normally we're thrashing into the darkness, sometimes till midnight whenever preparing the car, because as you know we keep the car remotely at the other end of the country, and it involves a lot of maintenance being done before the meeting and after the meeting, stuff that would normally be done at home. So normally when we all get there, we get the car set up, we're pulling the car apart, going through things, particularly the clutch. That's the most important thing in getting nitro cars down the track, as well on the clutch. So every race meeting we need to pull that apart and go right through it, and normally it's done the Friday night before. However, with putting the motor in at Beach Shop, gave me the opportunity of course I had to put a fresh clutch in at that point. So I used the noggin and put it all together, ready for the nostalgias. So on the day, all I had to do was fly to Tauranga, jump in the truck, drive it to Mary, take the car out, put the awning up, get the car up on jacks, put all the tools out, and then the crew arrive just in time to sit back and say, what's for dinner? So I had to cook that too. But that evening was very relaxed for us, and in fact the guys said a couple of times there's something wrong here because we're normally thrashing and the car's ready to go, but thankfully I had that opportunity to prepare it in advance, and there was a couple of wee things to do on it, but certainly nothing like we would normally do. So race day dawns and it's overcast, there's not a lot of heat coming into the track, and we knew that would kind of work in our favour a little bit with having a little less horsepower. Then Michael would be able to, well, we just flog it anyway and get down the track, and he would have to fight it a little bit harder. So round one, out we go. And what happened? After a couple of pretty good burnouts, we line up onto the staging area, stage the cars, and we launch. Off we go. So we stage the cars, and green light, bang, off we go. Michael's off like a rocket. I mean, I got the jump. I actually red lit, that's how I got the jump. But of course it wasn't long, and straight past me. By that stage I was starting to get quite busy, and if you look at the in-car footage, I'm right up against the wall and giving it everything I could on the steering wheel to pull it off, and it just didn't want to do it. And finally, after doing this 3 or 4 times and nothing happened, I just went and gave it a yank, and it came right. Actually, he'd crossed the centre line as well, so if I hadn't red lit, I would have won. He crossed the centre line. Great race for the crowd. And for that race, we had some Castrol marketing people who had come just specifically at that time of the day, and that was the only race they were able to capture. So they saw that and saw the crowd reaction, and they just thought that that was fantastic. So round one to Michael, and back we go to the pits. So servicing the car after round one, we're going through, we did all the maintenance, and we just had one last check to do, and we were going to put the car on the ground and roll it out, and we would have been ready in plenty of time. But that one check turned into a bit of a problem. So we weren't sure what was going on, but we weren't happy with the car, the way that the motor was responding. So we decided to take a little bit of extra time to go through things, and that meant, unfortunately, that we couldn't meet the call. I went over to see Michael to see how he was going. He had his own thrash on the go, of course, but he was on schedule to run at the allotted time. So I had to flag the run and say, you go. And I knew right there and then I was giving the meeting away in terms of us contesting it. But for me, it was more important that we took our time, we worked through our issues, and we're not taking the car out unless we're 100% happy. So Michael went out there, and whew, what a show. On and off and on and off and on and off and on and off. Would have won that one too. But never mind. He got down the other end, and that was cool. But by that time, we were all but sorted with what we had to do. I think we had perhaps another half an hour, maybe 3/4 of an hour, and we were totally happy with the car, ready to roll it out again. So round three, we're getting later in the day. There's a little bit of heat coming in the track now, and we had, because we'd had more time to talk about it, we'd decided just to tighten the clutch up a little bit, and we'd give it a bit of a stomp and see how it would react off the start line. So we do the burnout, we roll back, we stage and everything, green light, go. And I feel like I'm off to a good lead. In fact, it kicked me in the pants pretty good off the start line, and it turns out it was actually a best ever 60 foot. So we kind of got something right in there. I'm hauling off the start line, and then vroom, Michael comes past me as expected, and I'm kind of watching him skidding off into the sunset, and meanwhile I'm still hauling pretty good. I get to the middle of the track and I can just tell the car's slipping quite badly. The tyres are just not as good as they should be, and the track was a bit marginal on that particular day as well. So I was skating around, still straight, but definitely not full traction through the middle of the track, and then I felt it hook and bite. And at that very same time that it bit and started to haul, I saw Michael just give a wee speed wobble, and up probably about 1,000 feet, something like that. And I thought, oh, I'm in with a shot here. And so I just about pulled the steering wheel off the thing, giving it everything I had, and just clipped him on the finish line, and we managed to take a win. So that was awesome. I mean, unfortunate for Michael, he had more power, he should have got down there, but the track wasn't what it should have been, and we managed to sneak one through there. So it was an awesome race. So that was it. Back to the pits after that. That was the last run of the day for the meeting. And then of course we've got to go through our own maintenance regime, which I alluded to earlier. We've got to do quite a lot of work at the end of the day, going through the car to make sure that it is going to be in a position to be able to be raced again at whatever meeting we have coming up in the future. and thankfully all the boxes ticked, everything was happy, and no issues at all with the motor. So managed to flog it for a couple of good hard runs, and it liked it, so I guess I want some more. But actually we had backed it down slightly for that meeting because we just wanted to take things easy, and through a strange twist of fate it actually responded to the tune, and it hit a bit of a sweet spot and went a little bit better than we anticipated. So I guess you could say that we actually missed the tune previously, but we won't go into details. So we really enjoy running at the Gas Awards. It's our kind of meeting. The gases are very entertaining, and there was plenty of them this year. But not only the gases, you get all the support classes that come in around that as well. So while the day sort of highlights the thrill of the gases and some of the wild antics, and there is always wild antics with those children. I love being part of that, supporting what they do and being part of the show, and just help to sort of build on the excitement that they bring to the drag meeting.
And last but not least, of course, we got the Nitro Nostalgia class. Today, the runner-up in the Nitro Nostalgia class was a very interesting looking run, Carl Boniface. Thank you everybody, congratulations Michael over there, awesome run, that last run. Both crews were really pumped up at the finish line when we were packing the car up, it was so cool.
There's always a good crowd that come along. There's a good vibe really with that meeting, and that's really what stands out to us. So been to a few Gas Awards meetings now. They're very well run, they're very well supported, and we look forward to being part of it well into the future. So from here we've got Beach Hop just around the corner, which is an event that I love to take the car to, and you would have seen that in previous episodes as well. Really looking forward to that. And the week after that is the Nostalgia Drags, another event that we really look forward to. Always a cool variety of cars that show up for that, and plenty of action. It's always challenging for me personally doing the back-to-back meetings like that over 2 weekends, because I've got to haul up country with the Castrol hot rod delivery van prior to Beach Hop, and then we've got all our commitments there, and then there's another week before the next meeting, so I jump on a plane and come home for a couple of days, which is a reasonable cost, as you'll know, but life goes on, you know, and I just can't be away playing with race cars all the time. Why can't I be away with cars all the time? So that's it for another episode of the Nitro Flashback Files. Thank you very much to those that are commenting on the videos and following along with interest. Haven't responded to all the questions, and partly that's because I'm just not all over it yet. This is still a new format to me, and I'm not quite savvy with everything. So I opened a couple of past episodes up recently, and went, oh, there's comments in there that I don't think I've been notified of. So, but some of the comments leading me to think around some future issues that we might put together that might be of interest to people. So that's actually what we need. We need a bit of input. Tell us what you're looking for, and we'll put something together suitable, hopefully. So thanks again. I love your support. I hope you follow us along as we keep tipping this out, and I hope that you find it interesting. In the meantime, if nothing else, hopefully we'll see you at an event, or we'll see you at the racetrack.